This week in games, let's break down that PlayStation State of Play. There's too many Horizon games. Hideo Kojima finally working on some movies, and Overwatch almost had a Netflix show. This is the Two Penny Gamescast. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 219. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host. Say hello to the people, Phil Shoemaker.
It's me. I'm not Connor.
You're not Connor. Connor's on vacation this week and next week. So, Phil, you're stepping in. Thank you so much for stepping in with us. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Two Penny Gamescast. Each week, me and Connor, usually, but Phil today, come to you with the nerdy news you need to know concerning the video game industry. We'll each come to you with two topics, two pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. You can find this show every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/@2pennygames, and mainstream podcast services of your choice. You can also watch us live every Monday afternoon / evening over at twitch.tv/2pennygames, where we record all of our podcasts live, including, Phil, the Piggy Bank, which you and I just did a full episode on a tier list of PlayStation characters. And boy, oh boy, we got into it, my friend. We got into it.
We did get into it. Yeah, it got a little heated.
It's all love. We got there in the end, and we found something that is agreeable. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check that out. That episode will be coming out Saturday, so make sure you like, subscribe, and comment for more. And hit the bell for the notifications. You don't want to miss that one. That one is going to go down as a legendary episode of the Piggy Bank for sure.
I'm just going to be excited for the comments to be on my side.
I'm excited for there to be comments. Phil, how's your week been, friend?
It's been pretty good. Had a long early morning at work today specifically, but other than that, work has been really good. Been doing a lot of preparation. We're having this big corporate visit this next month, so a lot of preparation for that. Trying to look our best.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Doing your thing. You're at your main. You're back to your main location again, yeah?
Oh yeah, no, I've been back there since first week in September.
Nice, very nice. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right on into it. We're going to get to our first topic of the day. Phil, your first penny of the day, excuse me, something interesting hit the web this morning. This is breaking news as of a couple hours ago. So go ahead, take it away, my friend.
Yeah. This, of course, is an article from IGN. Blizzard reportedly had StarCraft, Overwatch, and Diablo adaptations in development, but then it sued Netflix. It's a subtitle, What Might Have Been. This is an article from Wesley Yinpool. Reads as follows. Blizzard fans reportedly missed out on various StarCraft, Overwatch, and Diablo adaptations because it sued Netflix. In a Reddit AMA to promote his new book, Play Nice, The Rise and Fall and Future of Blizzard Entertainment, Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier revealed that all 3 Blizzard franchises were due the Netflix adaptation treatment, but then Blizzard sued Netflix for poaching the company's then chief financial officer. In early 2019, former Blizzard CFO Spencer Newman was fired after breaching his contract to become the CFO of Netflix. Seems this dispute was at the heart of the end of those Netflix adaptations.
Fascinating. This some of these ideas and just the concept of some of these Blizzard properties getting turned into any type of other medium, whether it's movies, whether it's animated films, or just like some sort of series on Netflix, whether live action or animated, feels long overdue. And I think things like Overwatch, they were already doing those animated shorts all the way back then before the game launched and after and so forth, which drove a lot of traffic to Overwatch and a lot of interest and a lot of fandom there. So the idea that hey man, they were in talks to do real interesting stuff with a lot of their properties, and just none of it came through because of some back end dealings and executive staff moving from one company to the other. It feels like they just lost out on a lot of money off of some pettiness.
Absolutely, yeah. When I was really into Overwatch back in the day, watching those like animated cinematics were like one of my favorite parts about like the fandom, because like
Yep.
anytime a new one dropped, it was like, oh my god, did you see that new thing? And then like when that happened, they would kind of like change up or like add some like voice lines kind of referencing that, like if you were on a certain map with a character that was in the cinematic, maybe talking to another character. It was really interesting. It was really cool part of like the kind of narrative side of Overwatch, but then they had to kind of kill their game.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh man, that sucks so hard. They lost so much money with Overwatch. That's so unfortunate.
Money,
The choices,
goodwill,
yeah,
a
that
lot
they
of good,
that
a lot of
they went
stuff.
that way. But then, yeah, I mean, even on top of that, like promotional material for all of Blizzard's properties have always been regarded as really well animated, really well produced content. You know, you think of some of the World of Warcraft trailers, you think of the
Mhm.
Diablo trailers specifically. I mean, even most recently, all the way up to Vessel of Hatred, which was shown at Gamescom. I want to say, was it Gamescom opening night live that we got the Vessel of Hatred, or was it SGF? It was a
It
Keeley
was
event.
I want to say it was SGF.
It might have
Um,
been. I can't remember. I know it was a
no, no, no.
Keeley
I
event.
think the big trailer that we saw
The
was
one where they're the little
on at the
robos and
Xbox thing, the Xbox showcase.
I don't remember Xbox's showcase.
The one where
No, yeah, that one
you
was
know,
a
she's like on
banger.
the
Yeah, it
boat
was the
with
banger one. I don't know if Diablo was there. I feel like it was Gamescom,
I'm
but you know, it is
I'm
what it
pretty
is.
sure, because we live reacted to it, and we didn't do a live reaction for Gamescom
Yeah, did we
or
not
SGF.
did we live react to the Diablo trailer?
We live reacted to the Xbox showcase, and I remember it being there.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, then you're right then. You're probably right then. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that trailer, holy crap, you know? Talk about ways of like just immediately getting you interested in a world. And so, you know, those creative minds melding together. Netflix, especially on the animation side, has done some really, really great work. You look at their work with Castlevania. You look at their work with which one did they have? They had
Cyberpunk Edge Runners,
Cyberpunk,
Arcane.
Arcane, yeah, all of these great properties that you know could have been developed over there has been really really great. I really hope we still get that. We were supposed to get a Devil May Cry Netflix show by the same team as.
We just got a trailer for it the other day.
Did we really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Today?
No, no, just the other day.
Oh, just the other day. I missed that.
They
I
released
can't
it
believe I
along
missed
with the Lara Croft trailer for the show, and there was like a big. I think it was like
Okay, okay,
Netflix
okay.
Geeked Week is what they call it. It was I want to say it was just last week.
I saw the Tomb Raider one. I thought that was okay. We'll see. We'll see. I liked the Castlevania show, not so much the final season, but I liked Castlevania as a whole. I like that a lot.
I don't remember
And, you
watching
know,
past season 1.
huh?
I don't remember watching past season 1, but I liked it.
Season one's only like 4 episodes.
Well, I watched that, and then I think I maybe watched the first episode of season 2, because
Oh.
there was like there was the character that was voiced by Peter Stormare that ended up like dying like a episode after.
I don't remember specifically, but the end of season 2, oh my god, some of the best animated series work ever. And then season 3 was pretty good, and it just kind of like it didn't land the plane great in my opinion. But overall that's a great show. And then of course Connor would be able to speak to Cyberpunk and Arcane. I think he
Oh,
watched.
I can
both.
speak to Cyberpunk. I fucking love that show.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners was probably one of my favorite, like, it's probably one of my favorite anime of all time.
So yeah, so you can only
Amazing.
imagine that team with the IP power of an Overwatch, you know, would have been out of this world. We would have been gone. We would have been out of here.
Yeah.
And so yeah, now we're not getting this just because of some petty backroom dealings. That's unfortunate. And so you know, we can only dream of what could have been. I mean, just think of like a StarCraft anime with some like sick ass fucking fighter jet scenes and shit, man. Just pushing it to a lot of as you like accelerate on the fighter and stuff. Oh man, that shit would have been sick. Anyways,
I'd love to see some Zerg doing like a Zerg rush. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Or StarCraft, yeah.
a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, this just feels like money on the table that we've just left for no reason. You know, I understand like people getting annoyed and you know, homie got fired after breaching his contract to become the CFO of Netflix. Bro was like, yeah, sure, yeah, that's the idea. I don't want to work for y'all anymore. So, kind of rough, kind of unfortunate, but the world keeps on a moving.
Keeps on a spinning.
Moving on to topic number 2, my first penny of the day. As if we're not getting enough Horizon. Granted, we knew this one was coming already. We've been known for a while. Horizon online game is reportedly Guerrilla's next major product. A third mainline series entry starring Aloy could be a way off its claim. This is from Tom Ivan over at VGC, that videogameschronicle.com. Guerrilla Games' next major release will reportedly be its Horizon online game. That's according to Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier, who discussed the Sony Studios' plans for its flagship series during a recent Spawn Wave podcast. Quote, Horizon Online is their next product, not whatever the third single-player game looks like, he said. So that one might be a ways off. Quote, a lot of people are working on that, Schreier added, of the live service Horizon game. Guerrilla announced in December of 2022 that it was working on an online game set in the Horizon universe, featuring quote, a new cast of characters and a unique stylized look. Little has been heard of the title since, and Sony hasn't confirmed a launch window for the game. The PlayStation firm has experienced significant teething problems with its push into live service games market, including canceling a Last of Us multiplayer game and pulling Concord from sales just 2 weeks after it was released. And yeah, if we're talking about PlayStation and multiplayer, it gets tricky, especially in this modern age. But Phil, let me tell you why this can work. All right. One, it should probably be some type of PvE style game. I think that would make the most sense. PvPvE, maybe, if you want to do like different clans and different tribes working together, and you and your buddies
factions and stuff.
Yeah, you and your buddies are in a faction. You go off and you fight these other factions of players and so forth. That could be interesting. That could be kind of cool. But let me tell you
we
why.
We can call it Horizon Factions.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. But the reason why I think this can work is Guerrilla has history with multiplayer games. Killzone, obviously I think Killzone is known more for its single player, but it did have working, functioning multiplayer that people were fans of. More of a multiplayer focus than anything Naughty Dog did. Multiplayer gaming still kind of in the DNA of that studio. There are, people there who know how to make good multiplayers and who are passionate about making good multiplayers. So I think that could work. On top of that, it is paired with the Horizon IP, which is a super popular IP, even though people who pay attention to video games are a little befuddled by that, because how is this game that popular? And then we talked about it recently on this podcast that like if you just break down the numbers, Horizon Zero Dawn cost $85 million to produce, and it sold 35 million copies. Now a lot of that was within pack-in titles, but that's a huge profit. That is a ridiculous profit. So it's a mix of like how much money are we spending and how much are we getting out of it when it comes to corporations on the size of Sony. And I think this game we will see. I think it will be delivered upon us. I think we're going to get it. And I think this will be received better than the likes of Concord. Now, everyone here on this podcast enjoyed Concord. We all thought it was a good game, a fine game. We enjoyed it. We were going to play more of it, and then they took it away from us. One thing, Phil, I don't know if you're up on it.
Turned to dust on our hands.
Yeah, I don't know if you're up on it. One of the things that me and Connor have been talking about is one of the reasons Concord didn't work is because the look of the game was so generic. It went for this hyper-realism. It went for these super detailed graphics. And it caused the budget to fire up to an astronomical amount. We don't know real numbers. I know we talked about that story of how it could have potentially cost $400 million. I don't believe that story. But we have a video on the channel detailing that. Check that out if you want to see full thoughts and opinions on how that works. But they talk about a unique, stylized look. This is what we need with multiplayer from Sony. This is what we need. I think Last of Us Factions would have been too much to upkeep. It would have taken so much money just to put out maps. New maps in Last of Us are expensive, because that world is so hyper detailed and realistic and graphically demanding that would have been a lot on the team. I fully believe to upkeep quality, Naughty Dog would have just turned into a Last of Us multiplayer team, or a significant portion of their staff would have had to been cut away from the thing that they're actually really good at, which is the single player games, right? So that's why we didn't get Last of Us. Concord flopped, looked hella generic, did like because of the hyper detail, because of the Guardians of the Galaxy ripoffs. It just didn't have the hearts of the people, even though we on this podcast believe functionally it was a pretty good game. It just kind of lacked.
Played great.
It played great, just did not have a unique identity. And then you look at Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is a good-looking game. It doesn't look bad by any means, but by no means is it the most graphically demanding game in the world. By no means is it like a showcase for how powerful a PlayStation 5 console can be. And on top of that, it will not cost a lot to make more content for Helldivers. Now, Horizon is known as a franchise that is pushing the power of the technology. But if they are approaching this project with the idea of, hey, we're doing something multiplayer, we need something that we can crank out content into that isn't super demanding, that isn't going to take a lot of time, and we want to give it its own unique identity away from what we're doing with the Aloy story, having a unique and stylized art style will take this project so much further. If I were to guess, Phil, we start seeing this game next year, maybe another year after that.
See that.
Yeah, either next year or 26. And I don't think they sit on it for very long. I think you get it out the door pretty quickly.
What if it's all just Lego?
It won't be, but that's swing and a miss. In that, I mean, like, what would you even want a Horizon multiplayer game to be, Phil? Like, what sparks in your mind? What would give something cool, something creative that make you go, oh, that's interesting?
Probably like a PvE kind of deal where like you're kind of in your own little tribe and you're maybe trying to either defend some kind of resource that these machines are going after, or like you're trying to take back a place that they have overrun and trying to get whatever is in there before you're the other team, or maybe you're herding some of these like machines and taking them to your base before the other team can get them.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think some PvP elements could be in there. I think they should focus on PvE stuff, though. I mean, the simple lineup and what everybody's predicting ever since Zero Dawn is, if you're gonna do a multiplayer game of Horizon, it should probably be Monster Hunter-esque. And sort of working that way. I mean, the DNA is there already with how much crafting is in the Horizon games. And taking apart components from specific robot beasts and so forth, and upgrading in that way. Yeah, I think there's a lot of really interesting directions you can take that IP in the umbrella of multiplayer. So I'm very fascinated to see what they do here. I do think they should figure out some way to implement other PlayStation IPs within this. I don't know how you do that. Some type, maybe color schemes of characters. I mean, you have. Maybe you can join, or you can have a skin where like you can have like a red like a sash, go down your body like your Kratos or something. Have a headpiece that is sort of ornamented in a way that looks like Ratchet and Clank or something like that. I don't know. Just something to kind of like give it some fun, give it some type of like, oh, I love
some kind of PlayStation iconography.
Yeah, I love The Last of Us, so I want this headpiece that looks like cordyceps are coming out of my head or something like that, some way to kind of tie that in. I think there is potential here. Is this interesting, though, Phil? Are you interested in something like this?
No, I'm not a big Horizon guy, so probably not.
Yeah, I like Horizon fine. I liked the first game more than the second game, personally. The second game just kind of felt like more of the same. And to be honest, like, it's incredible how quickly Horizon just kind of oversaturated itself. We're getting 2 versions of the first game again this fall, which is a ridiculous thing to happen. But I understand why. And honestly, I'm more interested in honestly playing Horizon Zero Dawn remastered than I am playing Horizon Forbidden West, which is a problem, even though I put 20 hours, I think, into Forbidden West. They gotta have some, and I'm really hoping this unique art style does a lot of the heavy lifting here, because they have to have something to really garner attention and go, oh, this is cool. Yeah, I want to play around in this world. The world of Horizon is great. The world of Horizon is fantastic. So I think the foundation has been set for something cool here, but they just got to do something cool with it, or else, I'm cool.
Yeah, can say they would have to do something like crazy in order to like wow me and get me interested.
Indeed. Yeah. I'm right alongside with you. But, I mean, this multiplayer plan that PlayStation has put into practice, like, it has been tenuous at best. We are 2 for 3 right now, and the more we go along with it, the more Helldivers 2 kind of feels like an anomaly instead of actual homegrown talent. But at the same time,
what was the second?
No, 2 for 3 like misses. We've missed twice.
Oh, that would be 1. That would be 1 for 3, because we only had 1 hit of being Helldivers.
I'm talking 2 for 3 and misses.
Oh, that's not the right. It's not the right thing.
No,
sorry.
Only you're caught up on it. I promise you, everybody else understood. Anyways, the 2 being Last of Us and Concord, obviously didn't come out, didn't work, and so that's a shame. So yeah, multiplayer, PlayStation, we'll see. We're gonna get more titles because there's more on the way. Obviously, Marathon. Obviously, what's the Haven Studios game? Fair Games.
Fair Games.
Fair Games. Yeah. Oof. Yikes. We're gonna see, and then this Horizon thing. From there, PlayStation, I think you gotta stop, bro. I think you need to cut. I understand we're too deep in. We can't turn the ship around yet, but like, you need to start turning the ship around.
Sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah. Moving on. Topic number 3, my second topic of the day. Something interesting is going on with that there. Hideo Kojima, he was over at TGS, Tokyo Game Show, this week. Showed off a lot of Death Stranding 2, which has been interesting. As marketing material for a Kojima game always is. It's been interesting. But yeah, I'm very excited and interested to see what DS2 has for us. But moving on, Hideo Kojima signs with a major Hollywood talent agency and teases movies, anime, and more to come. This is from Alex Stedman over at IGN. Hollywood, get ready for Hideo Kojima. The Death Stranding and Metal Gear creator sat down for a wide-ranging interview with Variety, published today, in which he talked about the next steps of his career and revealed a more direct tie to Hollywood. Kojima has signed with talent agency WME, which the publication describes as his, quote, his liaison in the world of TV and film, end quote. He also went into detail about the future of Kojima Productions, breaking down his plan into 3 phases. The first phase, Kojima said, was all about Death Stranding and establishing it, quote, within the games category and expand on global platforms like Apple and PC and Sony. This part is not necessarily difficult, he added. Part of that, of course, is the upcoming Death Stranding sequel, which is set to release sometime next year. But the second phase, Kojima revealed, involves, quote, different forms of media, movies, anime, TV dramas, etc. Basically expanding the game IP to other media, he continued. Quote, that the second phase, that's where what we're aiming for next. I created Kojima Productions under the scope of digital entertainment, but I don't think it necessarily has to be a video game. We could create a new IP from a game or an anime or a film or something totally different. Anything is possible, and that's the third phase. That third phase certainly sounds a little more vague, but Kojima added that he would, quote, would like to work with talented people from around the world and create something new, with digital being the key word. It could be a movie, a game, or something else entirely. I can't die until then. I don't think I'm trying to do anything too out of the ordinary. Variety also asked for an update on the Death Stranding movie, which was announced late last year with A24 and Kojima Productions, but Kojima didn't reveal too much. He did confirm, however, that he won't be directing it himself, although he will, quote, supervise the plot and help them make it. So, A24, Death Stranding movie, still in development. Kojima not directing it, and Kojima looking to expand Kojima Productions as a whole into other mediums past video games. I do like him stunting a little bit and going, yeah, this game development shit, like, we've been here. We've done this. We've been around the block. We've done this a couple times. You know, not that hard. Not that hard.
Over here flicking his nose.
Fucking everybody else in the industry is like fucking drowning and trying to figure out. He's like, I don't know, guys. We're making a video game over here. It's a good time. We're having a good
Been there,
time.
done that. You know.
Yeah, you know, I've done
light work.
I've made a couple video games in my time. I don't know why y'all are crying so much. No. Listen. Everybody has always flirted with the idea of Kojima in movies and stuff like that. I think he would be great as a creative on these things. I do not think he should be a director. I don't think he would make the best.
I would be so interested to see what came out, though.
It would be so fascinating, right? I think I'm more interested in him as an executive producer type role or some type of just creative director type role. But, you know, we'd all have to see. I think
the idea man.
Yeah, right. And it gets weird when you start talking about these different forms of medium because I feel like movies is so Hollywood centric that you would have to make it for a Western audience. And I think having Western people on the team to make that accessible for that audience would be the right choice. But if you start talking about TV and animes or anything like that, and I'm not opposed, let me be clear. I'm not opposed to a Japanese centric Kojima movie. If there was a Metal Gear Solid movie, I don't care if the actor is Japanese or American or whatever. Like that means nothing to me. I'm gonna go see that, of course, right? But Metal Gear's a bad example because he doesn't have IP. But you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think there's a reason Kojima has not made the jump in all of these years. I think there's a reason behind that. Now, some of that might be sort of the stigma of video games in the time of which Kojima was first coming up with Metal Gear Solid and all these things. And there's a reason we never got a Metal Gear Solid video game because of that stigma and so forth. And obviously, it's taken time for the rest of the world to start producing video games into different mediums at a level of quality that is acceptable. I think we're there now. I'm very interested to see what a Death Stranding movie is. There was a quote somewhere in that interview and somewhere in that article I read where, like, he's not necessarily interested in adaptation. He's more interested in just expanding the worlds and the creative ideas. So if we get whatever this Death Stranding movie is going to be, it may not necessarily be Sam Porter Bridges again. It could just be something different. And I think that would be a cool idea. Especially because as I've been replaying Death Stranding.
It's Chris Pratt.
Yeah, oh God, I've been replaying Death.
He's
God,
so cool.
No, please don't. Oh God, no, please don't.
It's Chris Pratt and Jack Black. They're a duo running through this world with the packages, and they duo on the bike. Jack Black has to hold on to Chris Pratt. He's riding bitch.
Honestly, I don't even know who you would cast in a leading role in a Death Stranding movie.
I just told you.
No, get out of here. Get out of here with that. Because you don't want somebody charming. You want someone kind of depressing. My first thought goes to like a Ryan Gosling. My first thought.
A Ryan Gosling would be good. Yeah. I was gonna say
or a Jake Gyllenhaal.
What's the I would like both of those. This is kind of an oddball pick, but William H. Macy.
I gotta see the face.
Are you familiar?
I don't know if I'm familiar.
He was the dad in Shameless.
William H.
Shameless?
Macy?
William H. Macy. Yeah.
This is
guy from Fargo.
That's a very interesting pick. I don't know about a lead, but certainly part of the team. When I'm part of the team. That's a fascinating pick. Or maybe the bad guy. Could be a cool villain. That's the thing with Kojima.
He was in the new Planet of the Apes too. I forgot.
Was he? Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't like him in that. He was the human guy.
I love
right?
William H. Macy. Yep.
Yeah. But I don't think. I mean, it wasn't him. It was the movie. I didn't like that movie very much. So yeah. Moving through just more of that idea of, I like that he's kind of being specific in saying, back to Kojima, is being specific in saying, listen, it's not like I'm trying to get Kojima Productions. I'm trying to get the production company off the ground, not necessarily my creative visions and so forth. Like, he's like, obviously I'm going to be heavily involved in this. kind of depressing that he's like, I got to do this before I die. I don't want Kojima to be thinking about death already, bro. Like, how old is Kojima right now? He's well into his 50s. I think he's in his 60s. 61. He's 61 years old.
Yeah, 61. Wow.
Fuck. Yeah, man, you're getting up there, dog.
He's still got at least another 15 years.
Oh, easily,
at least.
Easily of create. I mean, look how long it took fucking, like, Steven Spielberg's still out here doing shit, and, James Cameron pops out every once in a while and does an Avatar, you know? But yeah, Kojima as a creative, I agree with you. We've easily got another probably 15, 20 years with him as a creative before he, goes and retires and just lives off of whatever money he gets from all of these residuals for the rest of his life. But again, this is something me and Connor have talked about before, is does Kojima Productions and does the idea of what type of game a Kojima game is, does that live longer than Kojima? Does that live past Hideo Kojima? Can he pass
I'm not sure it does.
Can he pass that baton to somebody or a team, and we can continue getting Death Strandings, or we can continue getting something as creative as a Metal Gear Solid and things like that? I don't know.
In terms of right now, I would say no, because like it's just he's just such a unique creative.
Yeah.
The only one that's like on par but in such a different way is Tetsuya Nomura. Like it's the only one that I would put on par, you know?
Yeah. Miyazaki I'd probably put in that realm too.
Oh, true. Miyazaki. I don't know why I didn't think of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of video games and like that kind of creative mind, yeah, it's those three. It's the big three right there.
Yeah, for sure. Now, from a Japanese perspective, for sure. I mean,
I think in general,
I want to see what Cory Barlog's up to. That's what I'm interested
Cory
in.
Barlog would be like, if those are the three, I would put him like, I don't know. I don't have any fillers for the numbers between, but probably like 6.
Yeah. I mean, I love a Druckmann, a Neil Druckmann I love. But of course, if we're talking creativity and just out there worlds and doing something kind of out there, Druckmann has his tendencies to realism that you may or may not like.
I'm putting Druckmann behind Barlog, so.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I want to see what Barlog does next. I want to see what Cory Barlog does next, but I don't think his recent work with God of War 2018 puts him above Druckmann. I think Druckmann's work with The Last of Us and Uncharted has been he's on a legendary run. And he's the first one to make the jump. I just want to sit down and
have dinner with all these creatives. You know?
Yeah, right. And Druckmann's the first one to make the jump from video game to other medium, with being television.
It's true.
Out of these, so again, it all just kind of depends. I personally, I would love an idea that a creative on the level of Hideo Kojima can live past Hideo Kojima. Like, I don't want Kojima to be the end of Death Stranding is so interesting. It's so weird and out there and unique. It is wholly unique, at least like on a AAA level. And I hope we don't lose that. I hope we can see an example of someone like that come up after Kojima, or even right now would be great. I would love more elements of that, but of course
time will tell.
Time will tell and see about all of this. And then of course we know Kojima's doing a weird thing. I believe it's a Paramount with Sigint. Is that the name of the game? Sigint? Not Sigint. Vizant. The one that's like Metal Gear, but isn't gonna be Metal Gear. The one I'm talking about, the movie deal that he did.
Yeah.
It's called Vizant, Visant, something like that.
I think it's Visant. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. That's gonna be kind of movie-ish, so we're gonna see what that turns out to be. OD, with Jordan Peele, is gonna be an interesting one as well. There was an interesting note that came out that announcement trailer with OD, the actor
Physint
with a V though, right?
No, it's Physint.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Physint.
Okay. All right. Kojima. OD. There was a funny thing where like the OD trailer came out and everybody thought it was live action, and they were like, "No, this is CG. All of that is CG. It just looks that good." So that's kind of cool. And then Death Stranding 2 around the corner. The more we see, the more he talks about it, the more I'm like, oh, there's a good chance this does come out next year. There's still a chance it slips, but I saw a quote that he said, he's like, I'm not ready to give a date. I'm going to give a date sometime next year, but he goes, we have a date locked for 2025. Of course, game development, things happen, things get pushed and moved back all the time. I'm also curious if Kojima's spreading himself too thin. Why are we depending everything upon him and on his shoulders? I just want Hideo Kojima games. Personally, sure, I would love to see what he does in other mediums, but personally, I just want him in games. It's where I think he's the most interesting.
I look forward to anything new from Kojima. I think he's just such an interesting creative.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Phil, are you even gonna try DS2?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I've been thinking about diving into some DS1.
Ooh.
But I was gonna say even further than that. I meant to bring this up on the piggy bank. We were just so preoccupied. I think next year is the year I play through The Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh, very fun, very fun.
And I thought about pitching to you, huh?
Before the show?
Yeah, I thought about pitching to you. Bringing back hype for a playthrough.
Perhaps we'll have to talk about that off camera. It's interesting. I'm curious if that would do almost too much Last of Us for you leading into season 2. Doing it next year.
I doubt it.
We'll find out. Anyways, moving on to our final topic of the day. Let's play a little catch up, Phil.
Okay.
We of course had a PlayStation State of Play. This is our final topic, your final penny of the day. We had our PlayStation State of Play last week. You and I did a reaction to it. We broke it down, all that fun stuff, and talked about it. But just for the sake of the podcast, Phil, what did you think about last week's PlayStation State of Play?
I thought it was really good. I enjoyed the show. It didn't really have like a low point for me. It didn't really have any kind of slow moments that a lot of these showcases, State of Plays, directs kind of have. I think back to one of the more recent Nintendo directs that we had. That was, man, they really just are milking the shit out of the Nintendo Switch, and that's been the case for probably the past 3 directs that we've gotten.
Yeah,
from Nintendo. But this was a solid showing from PlayStation. I felt. Probably big notes for me besides the obvious were we got Monster Hunter. I was a big fan of that Dynasty Warriors trailer. I'm gonna dig into that as my first Dynasty Warriors thing. But another one that I thought was really interesting was the fucking the fuck was it? I said the Alan Wake DLC. It really made me think about diving into Alan Wake 2 as a game because I didn't play through it, but I just all this because I never even played Control either. So this would be one of my first Remedy ventures.
Yeah, so Alan Wake to the Lake House expansion seems to have, they're bringing in the Federal Bureau of Control a whole lot as an explorable environment. I don't know if we know much more past that. I assume we're still going to be playing as either Alan or the girl in that game whose name I can't remember. Saga. Saga is her name.
Saga.
That's her name.
Yeah, Saga.
Yeah.
I would have told you that.
Or if they're bringing Justin Faden back for that any route would be interesting to me. This one seems a little bit. This one is much more like we're in the world, we're telling story. This is like canon type stuff. Whereas the what was the last thing they did? Not Lighthouse. That's the new thing. The 3 stories was more of like a we're having fun with mechanics type thing.
It was like it had a special name. What was it called?
Yeah. Who the fuck is calling me right now? It's my dad.
Don't they know you're streaming right now?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't know anything I do.
Night Springs.
Night Springs. Yeah. That was more of like a, hey, we're just having fun in the world and playing with mechanics and so forth. Alan Wake 2, great game. One of my favorites of last year. Mechanically was not very interesting to me, Phil, but I'm curious to see how you would respond to it. Really dope. That's one. I need to remember the name, the creative for Alan Wake, the director for those games and type stuff, because he's on that level now. He's in that conversation now.
Fuck, what is his name?
After
What is his
Control, after Alan
name?
Wake 2. Yeah, he's kicking ass out there. I'm excited. It's one of those where it's like everything Remedy does, I'm gonna follow now. I'm not missing a single Remedy game until they prove me wrong. But back to the state of play. I agree mostly with you. I think this was a good showcase, or a good state of play. I think they had some cool stuff in there, some games that are now on my radar that weren't before, such as
Sam Lake.
Thank you. Games such as Arcade Chronicles, which looks to be it's a online action RPG. When we were watching it, I was like, this looks MMO-ish.
Yeah. It had some MMO elements. It's confirmed that there's some other players in that trailer.
Yeah, so it's an online action RPG. I found out this is coming from an MMO that was semi-popular, but not the biggest thing in the world by any means. And so now they're bringing it to a new game, 2 consoles and so forth. That game looks really, really fun, and I hope they deliver upon that. And then from there, the one that really grabbed my eye was Hell Is Us. Hell Is Us looks like this is what I'm talking about. What I was just talking about in the last topic of yo, can we get some Kojima level creativity going on here? Hell Is Us kind of looks that way. And so I'm very interested and very excited to see what's going on here. Now, do I think it's going to be of the highest quality of video game? Not necessarily, but what I saw did look enjoyable. Some type of action, I want to say RPG thing, but it might just be an action game. Lots of dodging and parrying and attacking with swords and stuff. Sort of a mix between sci-fi and fantasy thing going on. I liked that one a lot. From there, Phil, I think it dragged a little bit in the middle. Things like Dragon Age went on a little bit too long. I didn't really need another demo of Dragon Age. And then, of course, the PlayStation 5 Pro talk I found kind of lacking. Not a lot of really new information in that, and I don't think they presented it super well. But of course, it was great to see Astrobot in the front. I love Astrobot getting all the focus now.
Yeah.
And, the new stuff, I'm excited to jump in and play more Astrobot. But the two big things, let's start with the less interesting one first.
Well, okay, I want to stay on Astrobot for just a minute. I really want to see if it'll give us this kind of leaderboard amongst your friends, hey, I beat so-and-so's time, or I really want that kind of element from this.
That's what I took from when they said online time courses, whatever they said. But the word online was in there. So I assume a leaderboard is coming.
Cool.
In which case, you and I are going to have at it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
For sure.
And I'm going to kick your ass.
Well, we'll see.
Time will tell.
Listen, I remember, what was that one we liked? Neon White. I remember there were a couple of Neon White levels that I definitely dominated and nobody was touching me. On a couple of them.
There was a couple of them that I destroyed.
You had a number yourself. You had quite a few, so, game recognized game. All right? But I'm just saying, don't sleep on me just because you got this big ego, all right?
I just remember, God, I missed that game. I miss Neon White so much.
I wish I played more of it. But, time. And it wasn't if I could skip the package that was around Neon White and just play the game, I'd like it so much more. But there's so much dialogue. Anyways, let's get to the less interesting stuff, but is just as important and impactful. Horizon Zero Dawn. The remaster was officially announced and given a release date of October 31st for PS5 and PC. I'm sure it will be up-resed for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Looks beautiful. 10 hours of re-recorded voice lines and mocap have been added to the game to kind of update it to the level of Forbidden West. It looks beautiful. What do you want me to say about a Horizon game? It looks like Horizon Zero Dawn, but much better, surprisingly, because Horizon Zero Dawn was already a beautiful game. And so a $10 upgrade if you already own Horizon Zero Dawn. But other than that, I believe... What was the pricing? I believe it's full priced otherwise, or maybe just $60. I don't know.
I think you're right. I think it is full priced otherwise,
which is odd. But it is what it is. Kind of shitty. It was making some headlines. PlayStation, after the remaster got announced, doubled the price of the original Horizon Zero Dawn, which is annoying, but business. What are you going to do? And then Lego Horizon Adventures got a new trailer, and that's launching November 14th. That is a 2-week separation between Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered and Lego Horizon Adventures. Both of which are just retreading Zero Dawn plot. That's a choice, but,
Do we know that for sure about Lego Horizon Adventures?
Yeah, it's just doing a little kiddie retelling of the plot and so forth. Now, granted, I think Zero Dawn and Adventures serve different audiences. It's just the fact that it's the same content serving different audiences makes you feel exhausted. It's just exhausting, right?
Yeah, I just don't know if we know that it's the exact same content, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's that story again. They're gonna have like a bunch of Lego fun with it, and you know, probably have some different takes on things. But it's a retelling of that story.
All right.
And then finally, the big banger for the end of the thing, and the thing that got everybody talking, right? Ghost of Yotai. Yotai. Fuck, I can't get it right. I keep wanting to say Yotai. I don't know why. Ghost of Yotai announcement trailer. Set for 2025. New island, new protagonist.
Atsu, voiced and I believe like motion captured, obviously by Erika Ishii, who is of Dropout. There's formerly College Humor. It's their new thing, Dropout, where you know she's in, or I don't know. I think it might be they. They are in. I think it might be she. They are in it's a Dimension 20 is like their D&D campaign type deal, and also on other game show type stuff like Make Some Noise and Game Changer, and a very entertaining personality. I like this character a lot. Very talented voice actor from what I've heard. But also we know that they're in Dragon Age Veilguard as the female Rook character.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna get a taste of that because I typically play as female characters in create your own character RPG type things. I typically play female anyway, so I'm excited to get a taste of everyone online was saying she, so I think the pronouns are she. But
okay, I think it might be she they, but
yeah, it might be. I don't know. And so I apologize if I'm getting it wrong. But yeah, I'm excited to get a taste of that in Dragon Age, and then yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. This feels like Sucker Punch is ready to level up. And so I'm very, very much interested. Sucker Punch has always been one of my favorite studios in the PlayStation fold. Has always been one of the most underrated studios in their fold. Whether it's Sly Cooper, whether it's Infamous, and they finally got some credit on Ghost of Tsushima, which is great. But Ghost for me is personally my least interesting IP, or is the least interesting IP that Sucker Punch has kind of given me. No, that's Insomniac. I've got my things mixed up. But yeah, I love Infamous. Infamous is probably my favorite IP from them. I love Sly Cooper for nostalgic reasons, but also I think in that era, Sly Cooper is super fascinating. And then Ghost is great. Ghost is cool. I liked more what they were doing with Ghost of Tsushima Legends more than what they were doing in the main game. Stylistically, aesthetically, that was more interesting to me. I hope to see more of that in this next game, or the game just come content complete with a new Legends mode of some kind. All of that would be great for me. That's what I really, 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 really want to see. But as far as this trailer, God, it looks beautiful. God, I love the art style. I love the direction, the use of color. Are you kidding me? I want to see more of that wolf. Do we have a companion character with this wolf? What is going on with that? I have so many questions. But, of course, Phil, the internet, being the internet, got set ablaze because, oh, no, there's a woman in my game. I don't want to play as a woman. Oh, no. First of all, y'all need to shut up.
Yeah, get over it already.
Y'all sound stupid. I cannot say it enough. Those who are like, I don't want to play as a woman. You sound like an idiot. Like, you need to grow up. You need to mature into your masculinity. You need to become comfortable in your own masculinity. And you need to understand that, like, it's okay to play as a woman. Like, that's fine. And women are badass. I don't know if you know that. They're badass. It doesn't make you any more or less of a man just to say women are cool too. Fucking get over yourself. All of that said, Phil, the last note I want to talk. Are we good with Ghost? Do you have anything more you want to say about Ghost?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay, great. One thing I want to talk about is sort of the reception online to the PlayStation State of Play was negative again. And I get it. I understand. I think I don't think the general public understand the purpose of a PlayStation State of Play. I think there are two big things that are going on here. One is PlayStation has a branding problem with their showcases.
In
It
terms
is
of
not
like the name.
it's not clear enough to people the differences between a State of Play and a showcase, especially when arguably the last couple of State of Plays, not like blow your hair back awesome, but they've been better than that last showcase was, you know, with where all the multiplayer titles got announced. And so they're sort of having a branding problem in which these State of Plays are not meant to be the big giant reveals with the crazy, oh my God, everything's awesome back to back. Like, oh my God, like the big reaction moments aren't necessarily supposed to come from these. We react to them because they're fun to react to and watch in real time and so forth. And we got excited when Ghost came up. We got excited when Astrobot came up. But for the most part, we knew what we were getting and we just like talking and diving into video games and stuff like that. But most people, normal people, are expecting big like E3 style press conference level hype from these things, and they shouldn't. And that's a branding issue with PlayStation. I think another thing that could help PlayStation with that is communicate a little bit better about what to kind of expect.
What to expect.
Yeah. In this. I think Nintendo's been doing a good job about this lately with their directs. Because for a long time,
what they do is they're just like, hey, they'll tell you what they're not going to show.
Yeah. And they're pretty specific about, hey, these are things you're getting in the next 6 months. Like 6 to 8 months.
Allegedly.
Yeah, you know, if all things go well, 6 to 8 months. And maybe sometimes they'll hit you with a surprise, but because they're very honest about, hey, listen, you're not getting the next big thing here. You don't go into every direct expecting the next big thing, right? I think PlayStation needs to adopt this for their State of Plays and say, hey, these are things you're going to get within the next calendar year. Like, do not expect do not expect a multitude of big announcements. Come watch, we do have a big announcement and some other things that we want you to see. But like from a mainstream perspective, they need to be better about their marketing of this. There was a second thing I had when it comes to these things, and I've forgotten it. You know, it's one of those things where like you podcast to yourself in the car on long commutes and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm talking, and I was cooking this week in the car. Let me tell you what, in the car, I'm the best goddamn podcaster in the world. On mic, you know, I'm doing okay.
I'll think of some cool stuff in the shower, and you know, like I don't have my phone on me, so I can't like make a note of it.
You gotta write the notes down. You know. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, overall, PlayStation expectations need to be lowered on the State of Play from PlayStation themselves. I think the marketing, the title of it, State of Play sounds more official than Showcase. And that I think is the problem. Is when you say State of Play, that makes us go, oh, this is where you're going to show us the state of PlayStation. It's your State of the Union, right? But that's not what this is. That's what the Showcase is. So they need to be more like clearer about those things. And right now they're not. So I almost feel like they should level up State of Play and make State of Play the Showcase, and then like rebrand these smaller updates as PlayStation updates or something. Like come in and watch this 30-minute PlayStation update.
Well, what sucks is they can't call it a PlayStation Direct because that's what they call the line in their store, you know?
Yeah, for that direct access into the thing. 30th anniversary PlayStation Pro stuff, total disaster too. Nobody was able to get anything. I wanted the Elite controller, but I forgot Edge controller, but I forgot all of these advanced controllers with the extra 2 buttons are $200. I forgot about that. And I was like, oh, I don't have $200.
Literally the same price as the Portal is crazy.
I get it. I mean, arguably the Portal's a little overpriced. Just a little bit. Should probably be about $150. For like, it doesn't do anything my phone doesn't do, you know?
I get you.
Yeah. So, interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for your Two Penny Games Cast episode 219. Thank you so much for watching and listening along with us. Remember to like, subscribe, comment for more. Comment down below your thoughts on everything we've talked about today, the PlayStation State of Play, the Blizzard Netflix deal, Horizon, Kojima, all of these things. Let us know in the comments down below. Until next time, have a great time. And Phil, say goodbye to the people.
See ya.